The right-wing culture war in the country continues to heat up, now with an effort to ban specific books, not from school curriculum, but from school libraries. And I want to be clear, these are books that are simply in school libraries. They're not assigned to students. They're just there in case students are interested and would like to read them. And wow, notably, most of the authors that they're banning from these school libraries happen to be Black. So let me give you the details. And by the way, this is happening across the country. This isn't in one specific state. So a children's book author and illustrator by the name of Jerry Craft apparently got a message from a school library saying that his books were being pulled from school libraries in Texas. The person who sent the message to Jerry Craft is from Katy, Texas, a town near Houston that has been under fire for attempts to limit the public's access to books that teach about racism. In October, the Katy Independent School District made headlines for temporarily yanking 2 of the author Jerry Craft's books, which tell the stories of Black boys who experience racism in schools, from school libraries, and postponing his virtual visit. So here's what the books in question look like, and just the very existence of those books within the school libraries apparently really offend some parents to the point where no student is allowed to read them. Again, these books are not assigned. These are just books that are in the school library that have been pulled. Now, confused at what was happening to his books, he responded, to all of this on Twitter, saying, let's take a look at his tweet. Apparently, I'm teaching critical race theory. Now, of course, critical race theory, which is graduate level curriculum, has nothing to do with his books, but critical race theory has been used as this like blanket criticism of anything that seeks to represent disenfranchised groups of people in this country, notably African Americans, and so it must be erased from these school libraries. And by the way, after significant backlash, I'm happy to report that a committee reviewed this ban and decided that the books were in fact appropriate, and they were reinstated despite the whiny parents' complaints. But we do have other examples, Cenk. For instance, Tiffany Jackson, the author of the 2018 novel Monday's Not Coming, about missing girls of color, is in the throes of a similar controversy. At a school board meeting in London County, Virginia, parents demanded that her work be banned for alleged sexual content. In an email, Jackson, who is Black, said the book discusses friendship, dyslexia, community, healing, and just mentions sex, though it is not acted upon. Tiffany Jackson, the author, also says, quote, "It's hurtful to go through this, to be considered such a monster, allegedly corrupting children. I had to go back and reread my own book to determine if we're reading the same story. Monday is not about sex. Reading is fundamental, but context is everything. Thus, it's sad to see these schools and parents caught in a game of telephone." And before I get to other examples and more details about what's happening with these book bans, I want to go to the very last graphic here. Because while conservatives are fighting tooth and nail to ban books from school libraries, books that aren't even being assigned to students, they're also profiting off of this notion that they're the ones who are being censored. And my favorite example is the doofus, otherwise known as Dave Rubin, who literally wrote a book titled, "Don't Burn This Book." I got news for you, Dave. No one even read your book, no one cares. But my point is that while they're engaging in this censorship across the country, while they're banning books, burning books, they then turn around and make themselves victims of book burnings and book bannings. It's incredible stuff. Cenk.
Yeah, I think when you cancel a book, that would qualify as being part of cancel culture. But look, guys, we keep pointing that out because isn't it amazing that mainstream media never does? That they only look at it from a right-wing perspective, including people like Bill Maher, Joe Rogan, you name it. Whenever they talk about cancel culture, they only talk about it in the context of the left, when the right wing does it 10 times more. They're going around banning books all across the country, talking about as if they're against cancel culture. It hurts the brain to see how irrational, not just the right wing is, but the mainstream media is. They're like, oh, I can't tell. You can't tell anything. All right, now we told you guys what was gonna happen when all this critical race theory came up. we predicted that they were going to start banning anything that had the black perspective.
Yep.
Boom, here it is. It doesn't have anything to do with critical race theory. It barely has anything to do with racism. As a black author, though, and talking about their perspective, well, we hate their perspective. We want to shut it down and cancel it. How dare you be black and have your own perspective? You're supposed to have my perspective. They genuinely believe that. They genuinely believe, how dare a black person speak for themselves? Don't you know you're supposed to just parrot what a white person says? They find nothing outrageous about that. No, we don't agree. We don't agree to be erased by you guys. And here we is all minorities. They tell me, oh, well, we wanted to ban all Muslims coming into the country. You're a Muslim who came into the country illegally. We wanted to ban you and wipe away your existence. Why aren't you okay with that? Well, no, I'm not okay with it. These authors are not okay with it. You guys are authoritarian people who love to censor things because you're fragile and you're also evil. That's what evil people do. They don't like democracies. They like to just grab power and shut down anyone that isn't in their camp.
And really, this is an effort to destroy actual, an actual exchange of ideas. Because libraries, I think libraries, it's a magical place where you get to go and anything that you want to explore, you get to explore it. If you have a curiosity, you get to, appease that curiosity and read whatever you want. That's the great thing about libraries. To ban specific books, this isn't even about like, oh, our kids are being forced to learn this or that. These are just books that they don't like. These are not part of any curriculum. They're just books, which, by the way, let's keep it real. Think about how many young children out there, whether they be Latino, whether they be black, children who don't feel represented, who might feel like the outsiders because of how our society functions. These are the kinds of books that make them feel okay with who they are. They're books that represent their thoughts, their culture, and to ban that, why do these conservative parents get to be the arbiters of what all children are allowed to read? That's insane. It would be just as insane, by the way, Jake, just as insane if I went into a library and said, you know what? I don't like these pro-capitalist books. I want to ban them. I don't want any kid in this school district to read about capitalism in a positive light. That would be insane. That would be insane. I wouldn't do that because I don't get to be the arbiter of what everyone gets to learn. But no, these conservative parents, it's this sense of entitlement. It's a sense of entitlement that's been instilled in them since day one. The idea that they get to be the deciders. They're the ones that get to rule them all. They're the ones who get to decide what you read, how you read, what you think. It is in no way what this country is supposed to be about. And the very people, you're right, the very people who are always fear-mongering about censorship always ignore these stories. They're totally fine with these book bans as long as they're done by right-wingers. But hey, if you happen to be a transgender person who just wants to be respected and wants individuals to use the right pronoun when referring to you, oh my God, that is hardcore censorship, and that must be talked about day in, day out on a 3-hour daily podcast. It's pathetic.
I mean, look, the transgender issue is a good one because it's still totally acceptable to hate transgender people in mainstream media. So that's why the Rogans and the Mars and et cetera get to brag about it. And unfortunately, I hate it, but it's true. In this case, Dave Chappelle, et cetera. Oh, we're all so brave. We don't think you should exist. What the hell is brave about that? Oh, no, it's okay. I didn't, my beloved multi-million-dollar job didn't get canceled because you still don't have enough power. I could say that, hey, my existence is valid, but yours isn't. I don't want you, my kids to be taught that you're equal, yuck. Okay, they're gross people. Everyone who says, by the way, no, we shouldn't have books about LGBTQ folks in the libraries either. We shouldn't teach it in the schools, et cetera. They're saying, we think gay people are so bad, they're so immoral, they're so terrible that our kids shouldn't even know that they exist. That's how much they hate you. That's how much they want to wipe away your existence. And we're supposed to be okay with that. Well, I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with it. And Anna, to your point about their goddamn entitlement, which I'm so sick of, they say in Virginia, oh, parents want to do this, parents want to do that. Really? Did you ask black parents? Did black parents want to stop teaching racism and wipe away that part of American history? No. No, when you say parents, and by the way, this includes all of mainstream media, you mean white parents, you mean racist parents. You don't mean the rest of us. You don't mean Muslim, black, gay parents. You don't mean any of that. You wipe away our existence. And then ironically, when anyone on our side fights back, you go, cancel culture. I can't believe you're trying to cancel poor Joe Rogan's $100 million contract. He's the victim, not all of you.
Just to give you guys a sense of how widespread this has become. The American Library Association said its Office for Intellectual Freedom reported 273 books were affected by censorship attempts in 2020, many with content that highlighted race, gender, and sexuality. Since September alone, September of 2021, there have been at least 230 challenges. So please come to me and tell me which side is engaging in real censorship, okay? Because this is the censorship that's ongoing, that does not get reported on, that you don't hear any real reporting on. You don't hear it in podcasts, you don't hear it in the mainstream press. And I'm sick of it, because debates about what kind of language is suitable in conversations or what kind of labels are suitable when talking about people, that's one thing. But banning books that aren't even assigned to students in public education, that is a completely different level. And I just want the conservatives that we defended, the conservatives who were protested against on college campuses, to come out and speak out against this. We defended the right of those conservative speakers to speak and share their opinions in the free exchange of ideas on college campuses. But it's so interesting how that is a complete one-sided issue, because they won't come out and speak out against this censorship ever.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.